Yep, I'm flying solo today. What of it? Anyway, hello and welcome to my live stream review of Ghost Right Here, Right Now. Yep, like I said in the opening, I decided to review this solo today because I am a massive, massive fan of the band Ghost, and I'd say that's probably scratching the surface. This has been my second favorite band since I was a freshman in high school. My number one, of course, being Tool. I've owned the albums, the merch. I've seen them live 5 times. Like this is my custom painted Papa One mask by Douglas Little. As you can see, I've had this since 2017, and it's made out of foam latex. And this is very sensitive material, so it's starting, unfortunately, it is starting to rot. These masks are basically, imagine wearing a sponge on your face. That's basically what it is. Here's just a couple posters. This is from the third time I saw them in 2019 in Trenton. And this was, and that dropped. And this is a poster I got from when I first saw them in 2022 with Volbeat. There, I've decided to put this with this poster, but that is my autograph from Papa 3 when I first saw them in 2016. So, autograph from Papa 4, some mummy dust. But yeah. I absolutely love this band, and in case any of you are wondering, I will answer these questions right now. Favorite Papa is Papa 2. My favorite album is Infestissimum, and my favorite song would either be Cerise or Year Zero. But, even though it's just me, same rules apply. You know how this goes. Let's begin. So, when it was announced, Ghost was finally going to be coming out with a movie. You know, this was going to be. They were secretly shooting a concert movie from their sold out 2-night show at the Kia Forum in 2023, and that show they implemented a strict no cell phone policy, and which, by the way, as a frequent concert goer, I'm absolutely for this rule. You know, another reason why I love Tool and Maynard's band so much is he implements that rule. And, you know, it's nice when you're watching a show and someone isn't shining a phone in your face. Like, as for me, you know, I'll occasionally take a couple of videos, but I'm sticking up all the time. So both concerts were secretly filmed for this new movie called Right Here, Right Now. And this movie not only showcases the 2-night concert event, but also offers a little bit more insight into the band's lore, and will answer some fans' questions, mainly about the fate of Cornucopia, aka Papa 4. So, like I said, I was beyond ecstatic when this was announced. I had to see it right away. Unfortunately, I couldn't use my Regal Unlimited pass. You know, I had to do the bet because this was going to be a limited release Fathom event. At first, I think it was only showing for 2 days, but then they extended it to another day. I'm pretty sure its theatrical run just ended. I caught the Friday night showing, and combined with this and Inside Out 2, my Regal was packed. Like, it was honestly, it actually felt kind of good seeing the theaters get this much business again because, well, I'm always a champion for theaters pushing forward and succeeding, you know, ever since COVID. This, my showing was almost sold out. In fact, the only seats that were available were the handicap seats. So it was nice just seeing this with all these fans, these like-minded people, all showing up for the same reason, to show our love and our support for this band, for Tobias Forge. Which, side note, Toby, my cat, which you guys have seen, is named after Tobias Forge. So I figured I'd share that detail. Before I get into my thoughts on this movie, I just want to say this journey as a fan has been interesting. Ever since the Prequel cycle, when Tobias revealed that we're not immediately getting Papa 4, we were introduced to the lovable, dorky goofball himself, Cardinal Copia, and we saw his journey from being a cardinal, which is the second rank, which is the rank before becoming a pope. Seeing him just as a cardinal, learning how to be the front man to become the next Papa, and then we actually see him become Papa 4 after the death of Papa Nil. It was really interesting growth and journey for him, and I think it paid off. It all paid off here. But what did I think of this movie? As a longtime fan, did it deliver? I can confidently say yes. It exceeded my expectations. So right here, right now, it's mainly a concert movie, first and foremost, with the skits and gags with Papa 4, Papa Nil, and Sister Imperator, teasing Papa 4's fate and him worried about his eventual fate, kind of sprinkled throughout. Those parts are very entertaining and funny. I really liked the back and forth and dynamic between them all. You can tell they're all enjoying themselves. But how is the main part? How is the concert portion? It's fucking awesome, of course. Ghost is probably one of the best bands you could ever see live. And as the band went on, the performances just got better and better and better and better. In my opinion, the shows get, like I said, each time I saw them live, the performances just get 10 times better. Throat's starting to get dry. The current Nameless Ghouls, they know how to put on one hell of a performance. They are awesome behind their instruments. The backup vocalists, they sound great, harmonizing with Tobias. And you can tell they're all having a blast on stage, just kind of fucking with each other. Especially the guitarists, because they do the little battle before going into Cerise. That's always a highlight to see. I think one of my favorite parts was during Ritual, while Soto, the lead guitarist, he kept on soloing and he kept holding on to notes. And Cosmo, the bass player, he takes the pick out of his hand and he just throws it into the crowd. And then he lifts up his guitar, and there's a guitar and there's a sticker that says "fuck you" on the bottom. That got a good laugh out of me. And Tobias, of course, he's one hell of a showman. He nails it vocally. He sounds amazing. And like with the Nameless Ghouls, you could tell how much he loves doing what he does. And going along with the Ghouls, I hope this lineup sticks around a little longer, because some of the Ghouls have been around since the initial Ghouls release, with the whole the lawsuit, which is a whole other can of worms in itself, and I'm not going to get into every detail. Then the stream would be 5 hours. I just hope they stick around a little longer. There's so many moments where I just noticed some people in the crowd actually getting teary-eyed. Papa, he gives 2 speeches to the audience, and they sounded beautiful, man. The audience, they were rocking out to all the songs. They were all having a blast. I was too. I mean, nobody was loudly singing along. Thank God. But everyone, they were all like rocking, dancing a little bit in their seats, doing a little headbang. How was the set list? The set list was awesome. I will admit, again, there's a little bit of bias here because the Papa 2 era is my favorite era. It's kind of a bummer. This set list from this Impera, Phantom Mime cycle didn't really have a lot of stuff from the Papa 2 era. Honestly, it would only be Year Zero, but here they busted out If You Have Ghosts. I don't think any set list will ever top the Perkel era, the Brats in the Row, Pale Tour Named Death, Ultimate Tour Named Death set list, because those sets had a good variety and had something for all fans, from old fans to new fans. I'll never forget actually getting to hear a deep cut like Idolatry live, because that has always been one of my favorite songs. It's a very underrated song too. Hopefully with this next cycle we get a little bit more Infest, but I don't know, man. But still, I still loved this set list. It includes the fan favorites, Cerise, Rats, Dance Macabre, Year Zero, Ritual, Conclave Con Dio. Including and also including a lot of the newer stuff, such as Call Me a Little Sunshine, Spillways, Watcher in the Sky, and the epic Respite on the Spitalfields. There's even a beautiful stripped down rendition of If You Have Ghosts, where he's performing in the middle of the crowd, and he's got all these there's all these veiled violinists. There's a pianist, and they're all shrouded, and they all sounded great. And there's even a part where after the song was over, Papa Ford dressed up as a boxer for absolutely no reason. And then you also have the live debut of probably, I guess, one of the more controversial controversial songs off the new album, and that was 20s. I'm gonna be 100% honest. As a longtime fan, 20s is probably. Hey Rob, thank you for stopping by. I'd say 20s, hands down, is probably the worst song Ghost has ever done. And there are other people that would probably agree with that statement, because the instrumentation is fucking awesome. What kills the song for me were the lyrics. The lyrics were pretty cringeworthy. Seeing this guy say dopes, suckers, moolah, and hoo-has is like, dude, Tobias, what the hell are you doing, man? I'll let him say motherfucker slide because, well, he says it live. I'm bringing this up because while I still don't like 20s, I still don't think it's a good song. Sorry to anyone who loves that song, but it is what it is. I'm surprised how awesome it sounded live. Like, goddamn. And the crowd was super into it too. And then before I get into a little bit more thoughts on how I thought the song sounded live, all the crowd shots, that was awesome. It was a very, very well edited movie. Constantly like jumping around and cutting around to the ghouls, back to Papa, to the crowd. It was all seamless. There was even a split screen effect where it was the two guitarists playing, and then Papa shows up in the middle, and then they go off to the ghouls go off to the side, and it's just front row center on Papa. That was a really, really fucking cool effect. But anyway, 20s actually sounded really good live. It sounded much better. It sounded tolerable. And I think the skeleton dancers accompanying the band as they were performing was probably the cherry on top. Because the skeleton dancers joined them again for I believe it was Dance Macabre. They were super talented dancers. The makeup and the costumes, they look fucking incredible. Like a lot of Ghost songs, they translate better to a live setting. Like Conclave Con Dio just sounds fucking epic live. Even better is Papa. He's got the I don't know what it's called, but that the like priests use. It's that little thing that shoots smoke out and they swing it back and forth. Cerise always sounds great, especially with whenever Papa he pulls out the thing. He's got the bat wings and he's shooing the ghouls away, so he could be front row center. That's another thing I've noticed, especially ever since Kobia became Papa. His ego got a little bit inflated. He's starting to treat the ghouls like shit, and it's all for show. It's hilarious. Miasma is always a highlight live because I could never get tired of Papa Nil playing the saxophone. And this time it looks like they used an actual person to play Nil, not just someone dressed up in like the mask. Because typically it's the other backup vocalist, Juddy Taylor. He'll dress up like Papa Nil, and he'll play the saxophone. Here it looks like they got the actual actor who plays Nil to actually come out on stage. And there's also a really neat bit of animation. During the newer fan favorite song, thanks to TikTok making it viral, Mariana Cross. What's a big thing people, I don't know, I hate to say the word, but haters, the metal elitists make fun of Ghost for? Oh, it sounds like Scooby-Doo chase music. Well, Scooby-Doo was a huge staple of my childhood, so I'm not super duper offended by that. I love how Ghost fully embraced the joke. Because the Mariana Cross segment, it takes place after the whole Kiss the Go-Goat incident. If you watched the video, you remember Papa Nil was kissing women in the crowd and it made Sister jealous and she ran off. This animated sequence, it's Papa chasing her through everywhere, and she's trying to get him away from her. Like he's swimming after her in the water, and he hits her, and she hits him with an oar. She kicks him in the face. And then it ends with them hooking up, having makeup sex in a graveyard. And then Papa wakes up in a hotel the next morning, and she's gone. That was a big highlight for me. It's hard to pick my favorite songs performed here because there's just so many good picks. So I'll say Year Zero, I'll say Watcher in the Sky, Absolution, Cerise, and Conclave Con Dio. But like I said, all the songs sound amazing live. And right here, right now, it also does a decent job, answering many questions the fans have had. In this movie, it is confirmed that Kobia, aka Papa 4, is the product of an affair between Sister Imperator and Papa Nil. Not only that, we see quick flashes of his birth, and it is revealed that Kobia is a twin. This implies the next frontman will be the twin brother. It's a common trope, we see the good twin and we see the evil twin. It's basically confirmed here. Papa 5 is going to be the evil twin. But now comes the big question that fans had about this movie. What happens to Copia? Does he live? Does he get fired? Does he die? What happens to him? Does Papa 4 die? And the answer to that question is no. People are overreacting. Copia, Papa 4, does not die. It turns out the theory I've had for a long time ended up being correct. Feels, don't mean to sound smug, but feels good to be right sometimes. Sister Imperator is the one who, for those who don't know, in the ghost lore, she's like the leader of the clergy. She's the one that dies. Because we see throughout the movie, she's in a wheelchair. She's attached to like an IV, and she looks a little weak, a little frail. She ends up dying, and Papa 4 becomes the new leader of the clergy. Goodbye, Papa 4. Hello, Brother Imperator. By the way, I really liked the suit he wears. But I would have liked if he kept the Papa paint, because the makeup looked cool, and I'm hoping the other part of my theory will come true, and that was Copia will become more evil and more corrupted with power, eventually leading to the clergy's downfall. Like, he kind of becomes like a Palpatine. Because after all, each Ghost album is basically a concept album. Opus Eponymous, the debut, was about a cult coming together for the birth of the Antichrist. The second album, Infestissimum, was about the Antichrist's rise to power. Third album, Meliora, that was about a future where the Antichrist is ruling supreme. Perkel took you back to the Middle Ages, where it focused on the Black Death, while also bringing up details of the lawsuit Tobias was a part of. Which I still don't know how I felt about that. Like, because I did have similar issues with and Impera was about the rise and fall of empires. Because with Impera, he also got a little more like realistic, a little more personal. Like 20s was about Trump, and Griftwood was about Mike Pence. And I don't know how I feel about Ghost singing about politics. Because, like, for me, anyway, if I want to hear a band sing about politics, I'll listen to System of a Down. I'll listen to Rage Against the Machine. But anyway, speaking of which, I do want to talk about the new song that plays at the very end credits. It's called Future is a Foreign Land. There's a little funny bit between Copia and Papa Nil, and Nil reveals that Kiss the Go-Goat and Mary on a Cross weren't the only songs he recorded. He recorded 3 songs. And of the songs done in the Nil era, I'd probably say this one is probably my favorite of the 3. Yes, I like this song better than Mary on a Cross. Come at me. It's clear by the lyrics this is supposed to be an apology song written for Sister Imperator after the Kiss the Go-Goat incident. And it gives me, the lyrics give me vibes from stuff like Dance Macabre, but also the song I Melt With You by Modern English. And the credits while the song plays is an interesting choice. Because while the song plays, we're seeing a montage of very like controversial and evil figures throughout history. Like you see Ted Bundy, you see Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez, Charles Manson, Jim Jones, the Zodiac Killer, the Unabomber, um, Gaddafi, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump. But the big thing I was surprised about from the end credits was they actually revealed the names of the nameless ghouls. Of course, I already knew the names of most of them because, well, I'm a longtime fan. But I wonder why Tobias decided to reveal their identities. Going back on what I said earlier, I hope this doesn't mean he's just going to be up. He's going to up and replace them all for the next cycle, because I really do like this new lineup, and I hope they stick. Do I have like any major issues with right here, right now? Nothing super major. I mean, I have a few nitpicks. During the skits, the acting got a little bit hokey. Seeing Tobias try to fake cry, it's like, you're not even trying, man. What are you doing? The acting could be a bit hokey. I still think the new actress they got to play Sister Imperator is not good at all. In fact, during the YouTube videos, I'm always saying, wow, this lady cannot act. Why did they get rid of the last actress? This lady needs to go. But here, she wasn't that bad. So I'll give credit where credit is due. And like I said earlier, I'm trying not to judge it too hard, because it's clear Tobias and the others, they're just having fun. They're not taking this seriously. So I'm trying not to be super duper grumpy about it. And I did cringe at there was a fart joke with Papa Nil, and they started doing those in the chapter videos on YouTube. If you watch our streams, you guys know me. You guys know I hate toilet humor. You know I hate fart jokes. So I just groaned, man. And with Papa Nil, I do find it hilarious. They at first they teased him as this decrepit zombie, like no fun allowed kind of guy. And then they quickly make him into a goofball who simps after Sister Imperator. He's a simp for Sister. And I felt the end credits scene was a bit of a giant tease, because they set up the arrival of Papa 5. You do see his silhouette, very similar to the Ghost Chapter 1 video where it teases Cardinal Copia. Because you see his silhouette behind the door, and you hear the beginning of Pro Memoria. Like, oh my god, are we actually gonna get a good look at him? You see a shadow, and it cuts to black. The audience was pretty pissed. Like people straight up groaned, like, really, Tobias? What the hell, man? You're teasing us again. But that's Tobias for you. Overall, as a fan for a decade, I understand this movie may not be for everybody, but that's the beauty of personal preference. This was made for the hardcore fans of the band. As a longtime fan, I was not disappointed. This is basically my Taylor Swift Eras tour. Like how the hardcore Taylor Swift fans felt about that movie. That's how a lot of us Ghost fans feel about this movie. And I can happily say it delivered. Performances, the set list, the way it was shot, the editing, the promises of what is more to come, finally answering questions. How could I ask for more? Unfortunately, I would say, hey, go check this out in theaters, but it wrapped up. I believe it just wrapped up its theatrical run, because, like I said in the beginning, it is a limited release Fathom event. I'm hoping it will be available for streaming or on Blu-ray soon, because I'm absolutely buying this when it comes out. Bring on the new Papa, bring on the new era, bring the new album. I'm ready. Let's fucking go. If you're a Ghost fan, this is an absolute must-watch. What can I say? I'm a little biased for Tobias. That is why I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Expect to see this on my favorite movies of 2024 list. All right. So that is my thoughts on Ghost right here, right now. I wasn't going to make this a super duper long video, but to anybody at the moment, Rob was on my content, but to anyone who watches this video later, thank you. If you've seen right here, right now, what do you think about it? If you're a Ghost fan, what did you think about this movie? What's your favorite album? What's your favorite song? What are you most excited for about the next era? Stay tuned. Stay tuned next time for our review of A Quiet Place Day 1, and that will be hosted by Rome. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Support your local theaters. And always remember, all those things you desire, you will find here in the fire. Once again, we are our way to the world. America.